Welcome everybody to this week's episode of the CD Sport Podcast with me, Kerry Davis. Joining us today is the marathon man himself, Gary McKee. How are you, Gar?
I'm good, thank you.
Appreciate you coming on, mate. I'll give the listeners a bit of a rundown what you're currently doing. So this year of 2022, you're going to be running a marathon every single day for the duration of the year.
That's right, yep.
And it's all in aid. So the aim is to hit £1 million for cancer research. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's to raise £1 million for Macmillan Cancer Support and my local hospice, which is West Cumbria Hospice at Home.
Beautiful. And obviously now, what date is it? It is the 13th. So you've done 13 marathons so far. How are you feeling so far?
Feel good. This morning when I came down, I'd done my legs last night, so when I woke up this morning, I knew today was going to be a good day, and I ran my fastest day so far today.
Oh wow! Today was it?
On day 13.
Do you keep like the same track when you run, or do you like mix it up all the time?
Predominantly, I use the same route.
Yeah.
However, throughout the year, there's other places, but most of the marathons will be done.
I lost you and completely. It just went quiet. Can you hear me all right?
Most of the marathons will be done on the same route.
Yeah.
However, there is some days where I'm going to different places to run because different people want me in them locations.
Beautiful, yeah. Because I was doing a bit of research before you came on, and Kevin Sinfield's on about running a bit with you too, is he? Sometime this year?
When I done 110 last year, Kev was supposed to come with us, but he's a busy man, you know, and we've got friends who we've got contacts, and he'd said that if he gets the opportunity, he'll come and run with us. There's lots of other people who's also said the same, so we'll just see how it pans out.
Beautiful, that's awesome. But like you said briefly just then, last year you did 110 marathons in 110 days as well. Obviously you're a fit guy. Like, you know, what got you into doing all these types of challenges then?
I got into being a fundraiser when my dad passed away, and my dad had been diagnosed with cancer in 1997, and I remember how one word had turned our world upside down. My dad was a strong man, you know, he was the cornerstone of our family. And when I came home from work, it was the 23rd of June 1997, I came home from work and my mum was sitting outside with my sisters, and I knew that something was wrong. I came down the path and I said, "What's wrong?" I can't even remember what they said, but I went in the house and my dad was sitting there and he said to me, "I've got cancer." And my dad was a cancer survivor. He rolled his sleeves up and he got on with the rest of his life. He had lung cancer and he had a lung removed, and he just saw his life as being given a second opportunity. And he didn't sweat the little things that most of us do. You know, he never really raised his voice. He went out, he liked a beer, he had a pint down the local Legion, he played dominoes, he done the Christmas savings. He was just, my dad, you would never hear anybody have a bad word for him. He was just a typical nice fella. And he passed away in 2003. And when he did, he had a heart attack and he passed away. And when he did, I wanted to do something in his memory. So I thought back to the day that we were told he had cancer. And I became a fundraiser. And the first thing I ever done for Macmillan Cancer Support was a cycle through Brazil. I'm not a keen cyclist. I wanted to take myself out of my comfort zone. So that's what I done, and there was about 60 people there. It was the first time Macmillan had done it. We rode around about 80 miles a day on mountain bikes, and it was very, very undulating. We camped on local football fields. There was a team came and done some cooking for us. You know, it was like barbecue food and this, that, and the other. I raised a lot of money, and I'd sort of got the bug that I was helping people. So I continued to do so. The following year, then I got into doing people who'd found themselves in the same position as us with regards to everybody's got a cancer story. If you either directly been affected or indirectly, but we've all know somebody who's got a cancer story.
Definitely, no, we have, haven't we? So it's like I say, it's a great cause. And this year now you want to hit the million. Would this be the biggest if you hit the £1 million this year? Will that be like the biggest?
I think in the past, in all the stuff I've done, we've probably raised around about $750,000.
Awesome.
I don't think there's anything to stop us. Well, I do, but I'm just a local lad who's trying to get my story out there. And if the BBC get behind us and other people like they have with Kev Sinfield, you know, we will raise £1 million.
Yeah.
But it's getting that foot in the door first and just, you know, seeing what happens after that.
You've been on like ITV and stuff, haven't you? When I was looking you up, on ITV news and stuff.
I ran 100 marathon in 2017. It would have been my dad's 80th year, and it was 20 years since his diagnosis. So 80 and 20 is 100. We'll run 100 marathons, and I finished. My 100th marathon was a London marathon.
Oh wow! Awesome.
And I finished the following day. I was on Good Morning Britain with Piers Morgan, and that year there was a guy crossed the line, and as he was, you know, on the TV quite a lot, certainly locally, but also nationally. So yeah, it's just being there all the time and people knowing who you are and what you're doing and starting to follow you.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, hopefully as well, like, you know, me coming on here, I know I'm not the biggest platform, but people from Wales at least, they might hear about you as well, you know, and like donate. And we'll go into that towards the end when I end of the chat and how we can donate and stuff for you. But yeah, so obviously now you're doing one every day, and I was reading you're still working full time too as well, Guy, you?
I am working full time. However, the last couple of days I've actually worked from home, which has made it a little bit easier. It means I'm not traveling to work, which is 30 minutes either way. So I've got some stuff I can do from home, which is great. I'm hoping that the company I work for get behind me and support me in doing that. Becoming a bit of an ambassador for the company, because it is a big thing that we're doing, and it isn't just about what I'm doing, it's how you can get other people involved. So I'm hoping that a lot of schools get on board, which they have done, and getting kids moving and doing stuff. Just people, somebody texted me yesterday and just said that they'd watched my video, put a daily video out, and they'd said they've gone from couch to 5K. And they said, that probably seems like nothing to you, but it's the world to me, because I never ever thought I could run, and I've been inspired by what you're doing. So that's what it's about, really. You know, inspiring other people to get out and do something.
Are you from like a little village here, or a little town? Is that where you're from?
We live in a town called Clayton-Mower, and there's around about 7,000 people lives in Clayton-Mower.
Yeah.
It's in the Lake District. It's about 3 miles from the national boundary of the Lake District. So we're 3 miles from the coast of Whitehaven, and we're 3 miles from the mountains of the Lake District. So it's a fantastic place.
Yeah.
The route that I use is a former railway line, and I run on it every day. And people say, how can you run that every day? But it changes with the seasons, and you see lots of different, you see deer, you see red squirrels, you know, you see lots of different things. And it works, you know, it works for me, it works for the people who come with me. So, and there's a lot of people comes out and does their walks on there just to bump into us and see how we're getting on. And, you know, it's nice. Yeah,
I was about to ask you, because if you're like from a small, like a little small town, like you said, I bet you everybody know what you're doing. And like, I don't know, when you're going past, people are shouting, "Good day, Gary," or "Doot in the on," or because everybody knows what you're doing, you know? So, and yeah.
Absolutely. So people refer to you by your first name, although they don't know you. You know, they're shouting, "Well done, Gary, well done," and keep it going, and they're giving you a little clap. And it's heartwarming. People leave boxes out with water in and little bags of Haribo and bananas and all sorts. So the community do come together, and it's really nice.
Brilliant. And have you got like a secret of like, do you eat anything, like a certain thing you do before every run to get you going? Like you say, a bag of Haribo.
I do. We do. I mean, everybody's got a routine. What time you get up in the morning is governed by what time you start work and what you have for breakfast. And so my routine is that I get up and I look after my legs. I have a bit of toast and a cup of coffee, and then I go in. I've got a gym at home, so I'll go out and I'd start warming my legs up just to get them moving. When I'm sorted out. We'll go outside, and somebody follows us every day and takes photographs that then get uploaded onto social media. And he comes around different locations. Usually the night before, somebody will text me and say what time in the morning. We usually have runners or cyclists, my own family at the weekends. My children come with me and they do the full marathon on the bike. So we build routine into our lives by doing what works for us, and that's what works for me.
And you do, I was reading, do you do like 2 shifts? Yeah? Is it like you do either 6 till 2 p.m. or you do 2 till 10?
At work, yeah. So
that's work, right.
No, that's just work, yeah. My work, I work morning shift and afternoon shift. So if I'm going in on afternoon shift, I start my marathon in the morning. I'll start at 8 o'clock.
Right.
Finish by just after 12. I get home, have my legs done, get a quick bite to eat, and then I travel to work. And the opposite is, but I'm trying not to work morning shifts, which is quite good.
Yeah, that's better, isn't it? And obviously, like you saying, your work colleagues, are they thinking like, how are you going to do this, Gar? But I think they know, because you did last year, the 110 marathons. They'd be like, you got this in the bag, you know?
Yeah, to me, it's just an extension of what I've already done. I don't see it as anything other than just running 26 miles a day. Yeah. And I know that sounds a bit daft to some people who, you hear people saying, I've done a marathon and I couldn't walk the following day. But I'm not racing anybody. We're just taking our time. We stop for photographs. When we get to 19 mile, I change my top because you're usually wet. Yeah. The wife will maybe have a sandwich ready and things like that. But it's not about times. It's just about completing 26 miles. Yeah. And when you think about those people who raced a marathon and they said they couldn't walk the following day, you've got to question, but what did you do for your recovery? Because I recover, I look after myself, I look after my legs, I get them massaged, I make sure that I've got plenty of food on board, plenty of fluid on board, I get a good night's sleep, and that all aids in your recovery. I always say that today's run is for tomorrow. Yeah. You know, and I don't say it as just, I just say it as, there's no big 365 in my head. It's one day at a time, just repetitively. And that's how we work.
That's a good way of looking at it, actually. Yeah. Like you said, thinking like, oh my God, I've got to run every day for a year. It sounds really daunting, doesn't it? But like you say, right, I'm just going to get up, I'm going to run, go to bed, next day, same again.
Just 4 hours. Just 4 hours of running. That's all it boils down to.
Yeah. And like you said, for recovery, do you do like ice baths or anything as well with that?
No, I've never been into anything like the ice baths. I don't know. It sounds like an initiation to me. You know, come and see how hard you are and sit in this ice bath. You know, can you imagine if ice baths actually worked and your grandma was walking around because she's got sore legs and said, come on, Nan, I've got you an ice bath ready. Come and jump into this. You'd kill her, wouldn't you? You see on the news about when we have warm weather about people dying because they jump into ponds and things and it's cold. I just don't get it why people sit in ice baths. If I have a niggle or an injury, I'll throw some ice on it. Yeah. But to sit in an ice bath, it sounds absolutely mental to me.
Torture. Yeah, I think that's everyone, like you see all the athletes on Instagram and you see them do it. And I'm like, it's not for me, I'll be honest. I'm not a big ice bather. I'm more of a, like you said, grab a bag of peas from the freezer, chuck it on the knee, and hopefully that does the trick, you know. But like obviously you're 13 days in now to the run, but just if we go rewind to last year, any like do you come across any like issues, you know, during the challenge last year at the 110, or was it pretty smooth for you?
I think when you're doing something for as long as this, there's always something that does pop up. Historically, when I've done the 100 and when we've done 110, you lose people, you know, people die, friends die. We've had it on 2 occasions. On day 31, when I've done the 100, one of my closest friends died unexpectedly. He was only 40 years old. And it's a massive blow to you because you just think, what do I do? So we sat down as a family and, you know, I said that things will happen, but we've got to get the marathon out today. And that's what it's about. It's about helping other people. So things do happen. Hopefully, touch wood, we won't encounter anything this time, but you just don't know till it does happen how you're going to get through things. Yeah,
I didn't think of that. When I asked that question, I thought more like illness or injury, you know, but like you said, that something like that coming, you know, hearing that news, it'd be like...
Yeah, I think with regards to illness and injury, I don't think anybody should be foolish enough to think that I don't experience those things, because you do, you know, but I always think to myself, how could I stop when I'm raising money for a cancer charity, and I couldn't look a person in the eye who's got a cancer battle on my hands and say I had to stop because my legs were sore, or because I had a pulled muscle, or because of whatever. You do soldier on. You've got plenty of people around you to get you through the day. I know you've still got to put one foot in front of the other. But as I said earlier, it's not about times or anything. It's just about completion.
Yeah.
We normally run between, today's was 3:41. We always generally get under 4 hours of running. You know, but if I go to London, my marathon time's just over 3 hours. So I think that shows you how it's just more of a, it's not a serious race. It's just completion.
So when you go to London, you mean doing the London Marathon, you can get it that quick, you're that fast?
Yeah.
How's that then? Because the crowd and stuff, and easier track, or what? There's obviously crowds, but it depends what your expected time is. So if you put down that you're a 4-hour marathon runner, you'll start behind the masses. If you put down that you're a 2:30, 2:50, you're starting at the front. So you've basically got a clear run. I'm a 3-hour marathon runner, so I would be in pen 1, which is at the front, and you're having to fight through all the masses to get around people and stuff like that. So that helps. But as I said earlier, when I'm running consistently every single day, you're never going to push yourself as you would if you were in a race, because when you race hard, your recovery is longer. And because I'm doing it every single day, I don't need to race hard. I need to look after myself and spread it out to be able to achieve what I'm doing consistently every single day. 100%, yeah. Like you said, it's just all about completion, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Have you got any booked? Like, have you got the London Marathon or any other events booked, or are you just going to keep plodding on what you're doing for this year?
I've done the London Marathon since 2015, and this will be the first year that I'll have missed it, and I haven't got an entry simply because it would take too much out of my day to have to travel to London and then compete in the marathon, and then travel back the following day and get a marathon in. So I haven't entered this year.
You haven't entered, no. But like you say, just doing what you're doing is like, I think that's more than enough, isn't it? But
it is. There's enough on your plate running every single day. Incidentally, when I'd done my first London Marathon, I actually ran from my home in Cumbria to London to take part in the marathon. So it's like 50 miles a day for the week, and then I ran the London Marathon on the Sunday.
You ran from your home to the marathon, then you did the marathon after.
Yeah.
That's crazy, that is. Jesus. Like you say, I've had a couple of guests on in the past, and I am really interested in like endurance athletes. Like, have you heard of Sean Conway? Have you heard of him?
I haven't, no.
No, he did like, he's done loads of stuff. Like he ran the length, he did the Land's End of John O'Groats, run it.
Yeah.
And then he like cycled it.
Yeah.
And then he swam the ocean then.
Crazy.
You know, stuff like that, like, and it blows my mind. And another guy, Alex Kashafi. Do you know Alex Kashafi? He's up that way. He's from the Lake District's a big area, isn't it?
It is.
But he's got a pretty good story. Like, he was like your mate. Like, he did the couch to 5K. That was his first thing he did. He really got into the running. Started doing marathons and ultra marathons. And he was a big believer in that with your feet, like wearing trainers, like your toes should be like that, more like, you know, spread. Yeah. So he was obsessed with barefoot running. And anyway, cut a long story short, is like one of his biggest things he's done. He ran from the top of Norway, so the furthest point of Europe, and he ran and assisted all the way to the southernest point of Europe. So it was like a little town in Spain in sandals. Do you know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
Just hearing like the story, like, you know, going from Norway, and it was like just coming out of winter, but obviously Norway's cold like all year round, isn't it?
It is.
But hearing them stories and stuff like that, and even yours now, it blows me away, like, and so impressive. And funny enough, I did a podcast last week, actually. David Fitzgerald, the Scouse runner. You might have seen. He was on BBC Breakfast. Do you see him in New Year's Day?
I heard about him. Yeah. Yeah,
and again, brilliant cause. He's doing it for knife crime and cancer research as well. And he was like minimum of 5K a day. That was his target, you know. But obviously, like that was minimum. Some days he was doing more. He did half marathons. But yeah, it's just it's inspirational, you know, and it just makes me want to go out for a run now, I'll be honest.
You sell out there.
Yeah, look out the window, it's just like dark and wet. But the weather, like running in the snow and stuff, you just doesn't bother you, does it?
Cumbrian weather. It's a rainy season from January till December. You know, if you come to Cumbria, bring an umbrella. I remember when we were doing the 110, and it was COVID time, so you could only have one other runner with you. And we were standing, we'd done 12 mile and we'd stopped at a turning point. And I looked at the guy who was with us, and there was water dropping off his nose, and I started laughing, and he said, "What are you laughing at?" And I said, "Somebody's going to walk out of a cancer ward today and ring the bell to signify that the cancer treatment's complete. And they're going to go outside, and if they see this rain, they're going to do a little dance in it, because it's going to be the nicest rain that they've ever seen in their life." And we just looked at each other and we started laughing. And whenever we ran after that, when it was raining, one of us would go, "Ding, ding," because you're doing it for somebody else. And when you realise that, regardless of what the weather is, it's nothing in comparison to what somebody else is going through. So that's what we always used to do when it was bad weather, just look at each other and say "ding, ding," and everybody knew what that meant. The
ding, ding. Yeah, that makes perfect sense too. Like you say, we don't realise how, like, you know, we get up in the morning, we can go to work, we can, you know, go for a run, and we're healthy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some people would bloody, you know, the old saying, they give their left arm to do some things that, you know.
Would. I think you get to a point in your life where you don't realise that you've done things for the last time. I see some people when I'm running, the old generation, and they'll say, "Oh, I wish I could do a mile with you," you know, and you think, I wonder when the last time they did actually do a run. And what point do you think that you can't run anymore? I often go out with the kids on the bikes, and my daughter, she's only 9, and she'll say, "Dad, can I climb up that tree?" And I'll say, "Go on then." So she'll say, "Well, you come with me." So she'll climb up the tree, and I'll climb up one side and then up the other, and we sit in the tree looking at each other and laughing and that, and somebody will go past and they'll say, "Hey, are you all right?" And I'm thinking, here's me up a tree, and I'm 52-year-old sitting in trees. But I think that's what keeps you young as well.
Yeah. You can imagine, like, someone walking past, like, they're right up there.
There's Gary up a tree.
That's brilliant, Carl. And to donate to you now, like, have you got like a link or a web page we can?
Yeah, I've got a JustGiving page. So it's www.justgiving.com /365, but it's 365 as in the letters, not the numbers.
Yeah, there we are. I'll put that on the bottom of the post. And
brilliant.
Instagram, do you post much of your runs now on Instagram or social media?
Do you know something? I don't really do any of the, apart from my own Facebook. Somebody else runs all Twitter and Instagram and all that.
Yeah.
And I don't really use it. Somebody set it up for me, and it's my personal one. And then I see these messages coming in. I don't really know how to use it.
Yeah.
So I don't put many posts on. I do a daily blog on Facebook that every day I run in a vest that's being sponsored by somebody. And I have up to 5 vest sponsors a day, and people pay me £100. So today I ran in memory of somebody who had passed away, and another one was, let me just have a look, I've got the thing here. So it's somebody's birthday as well. So I'll run and they'll pay £100, and that then goes onto the page. And if I got 5 vest sponsors a day throughout the year, that would create £185,000, wow, which is a lot of money towards the £1 million. So I do a thank you on Facebook through a blog that I do. We knees up for people, you know, asking them what they're doing today and how a smile can change the world. So get out and change somebody's day by giving them a smile or a random act of kindness, or, you know, just trying to keep people motivated to get out and do something. So that's my social media side of things. Instagram, I don't really know.
Yeah. So when I messaged you on Instagram, was that you replying back?
It was, yeah.
All right.
It was on that one, but with the Twitter one, somebody else runs that for me, and they put these tweets out, is that what they call them, and people will be thinking it's me, and it's not, because some of them are cringy.
Yeah. what's your? I'll put your names on my page for people to follow your blog. So what is it again? I'm going to write it down.
So I've got. There's a Facebook page called Marathon Man 365.
Marathon Man 365. Yeah.
And on Twitter, I am Marathon Man _365.
There we are. I'll share that so people can follow your journey.
Yeah, and it is quite a journey. It's one of them things where it's like football. When the season starts, you've missed a match and you start watching it, and then when it finishes, you think, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
People do get involved in following the journey through and they see what you've got to do to change a digit from day 13 as it is today to day 14 tomorrow. And there's more than just running, it's all the preparation that goes in before, the prep that goes in afterwards. There's the sorting out of the vests. There's the interviews like this. Yeah. There's going to work. There's running a house. There's being a dad to 3 children. There's lots more involved than running 26 mile a day.
People are just seeing, I know what you mean.
Just say the 26 mile.
26 mile and that's it. No, that's brilliant. But I'm looking forward. I bet, no doubt, you're going to see you on the telly, maybe halfway through the year or towards the end of your challenge. But I'd be definitely, if you're interested, if you want to jump back on, maybe towards the end of the year as well. And we can have a bit of a chat as well.
Anybody who's listening, you can update them halfway through the year. I can tell you how things have gone.
Yeah. Any
problems that we've had to overcome, how much we've raised, how that money's being spent, how many people we've inspired to get out, how many schools we've been involved with. I'm trying to get into the schools to do what we know as the alphabet marathon. So there's 26 letters in the alphabet and there's 26 miles in a marathon. So you get the kids who their names start with the letter A to run a mile, then the B's do a mile and the C's do a mile. And if all the children got themselves sponsored, and if it was only £1, that would be £26 that went on my page, and that's how we're going to get to £1 million. But the good side of it is the kids are getting themselves fitter whilst raising money to help other people who, need support from the charities that I'm raising money for.
Beautiful. You know what? When I was looking at doing my research on you, I saw Alphabet Marathon. I actually got on my notes and I haven't asked you. So that's what it's for. 26 letters, A to B's. That's brilliant. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Because the kids, they're only actually running a mile, but cumulatively, the school is supporting you by getting everybody to run a mile.
Yeah.
And all that adds up to a few quid that goes on the page and it pushes me towards $1 million.
Brilliant. And I'm going to donate you too.
Brilliant.
I'll find the link. I'll give you chuck 20 quid in for you, guy. You say it's a great cause and it's
that's brilliant.
The challenge you're doing as well is phenomenal and brilliant. So I want to wish you best of luck, and you're an inspirational. I'm looking forward to see how you get on throughout the year.
Brilliant, mate.
And also, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, the CD Sport Podcast. I'm also on Instagram, also the CD Sport Podcast. So spread the word on that one. Spread the love.
Spot on, mate.
Thank you, Gary.
No bother. Thanks very much, mate.
Gary McKee, everybody. You.